This is Christine Brown, and while I have to listen to this podcast as my motherly duty, you have the choice not to. My sons sometimes say some naughty things when they're trying to be funny, but really, they're just being stupid. If you still want to listen, go right ahead. I am not your mother.
Welcome back to the Patriots Dynasty podcast. We are 2003 week 7 in Miami, at Miami. A place Patriots just don't ever win. But this is 2003 and we know they don't lose, so something has to break. With me today, I'm Andy Brown. With me today, my brothers Steve and Greg. How you boys doing?
Hola.
Great.
I'm doing fantastic.
Cool. You sound amazing.
Thanks, Andy. You sound like shit.
Cool. So, this isn't going to come out until a little bit later, but we're actually recording this the week after Thanksgiving, and we didn't get to like spend any time together this year. I know you two boys actually had plans that fell through because of all the stuff going
canceled, all that bullshit.
So we all spent some time alone, I guess, for Thanksgiving this year. Apart, maybe, is probably a better word. So I was trying to figure out ways of somebody kind of bring us together in order to, have a Thanksgiving thing of our own as a podcast.
A podcast Thanksgiving.
So I've been racking my brain trying to figure out the best way to have Thanksgiving delivered to you. So that's what's happening right now is you should be getting Thanksgiving delivered to you specifically.
What does Thanksgiving mean to you?
I don't see anything.
I got Lauren standing right now.
Right. So so in true Kelly fashion, she now needs
late.
a minute.
You thought Kelly was gonna walk through that door, Andy?
Yeah, I was stalling for as long as I could.
I was like, he's up. I was like, why Lauren?
Yeah. So
what's my Thanksgiving? Wait.
So the time, so you can take it, but don't open it quite. We'll wait for Greg to get his. So I was trying to figure out a way to deliver Thanksgiving dinner to you.
What a guy!
It was hard to do, but I did figure something out.
How are you organizing this? Because I think Kelly's on the phone.
Yeah. Lauren, did he just text you and say, "Go give this to Steve"?
Yes, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, go downstairs and just get it from Kelly.
She is. What? Is this some sort of surprise or something?
Yes.
Where's Lauren?
she's there too.
She's right there.
I already got it.
So happy Thanksgiving, boys. So because this is an audio, an audio medium, what I have had delivered is Brock's Turkey Dinner Candy Corn. It is candy corn with the flavors of, from the bag, and I quote, green beans, roasted turkey, cranberry sauce, ginger glazed carrot, sweet potato pie, and stuffing.
Andy, this is actually perfect. It's a week after Thanksgiving officially, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly, because it's Thursday.
And I was just telling Lauren that I've had turkey for every single meal except for two.
Except for two.
Yeah, I had a steak dinner one night and some teriyaki chicken, and every other meal since then has been turkey sandwiches, turkey soup, turkey wraps.
So this is turkey candy corn, and
it's disgusting.
There seems to be 3 distinct colors.
Maybe turkey one. It sort of tastes like turkey.
So so there's like a brownish one. So I'm gonna try that one.
It smells so gross.
The brown one's the turkey.
No.
First ingredient is sugar. That's a good sign.
Yeah, the brown one's definitely turkey.
Corn syrup, which is also sugar.
I think it's turkey and maybe gravy. There's a brown
Red
one.
one's good.
What if I don't love green beans? Do I still eat it?
Yeah, you got to try each one once, right?
There's sweet potato pie. One might be sweet potato pie.
The white one is...
The turkey's gross.
Yeah. All right, I'm going green bean.
Whoa.
Oh. Horrendous.
Oh, the green beans, gross. Like sugary green beans. But, ugh.
Holy shit. That green one's terrible.
Who thought this was a good idea?
You can actually legitimately buy these at Walgreens.
You know what? Might be okay. The cranberry. Let's try cranberry. That goes like sweet.
Cranberry's decent. Yeah, I had the cranberry. Not bad.
Oh, yeah, I'd eat the cranberry one again.
All right, now cranberry's decent.
Yeah. I'll eat a second cranberry one.
Which is brown and white and brown and like black or gray.
The darker one, I think, is gravy.
Some gravy in here?
You know what they
tastes like
definitely
gravy.
did is
Or maybe stuffing?
They took the ones from Halloween that didn't sell, reprocessed them, threw in some disgusting flavors, and then repackaged.
That is
That's definitely what.
true, yeah. They just bought the candy corn back from CVS, melted it down.
The dark one's supposed to be stuffing. Oh, why do I keep eating it?
I'll try stuffing too.
Can't not.
Oh, stuffing is hard. Wait. What if I eat a turkey too? Turkey and stuffing, because I think regular stuffing on its own is disgusting.
What?
Really?
I don't eat there and sit there and eat stuffing.
Oh,
I used to do that when I was a kid. I used to just make the stuffing, the stovetop, and just eat it by itself.
That was why Thanksgiving, apart from you fools, is the best, because I got a 15-pound turkey and I ate the whole fucking thing for a week. As many turkey sandwiches as I want. None of that Greg's been in here and half the fucking turkey's gone. Turkey soup, as much turkey soup as I want, and I put a ton of turkey in it, so it's like extra turkey soup. Oh, it's so good.
Turkey soup's gross. It's just a waste of turkey.
No way, dude. That's what I always thought, but I had so much turkey. I would rather a turkey sandwich than a turkey soup, but the turkey soup, excellent.
What about turkey
you
egg
do
roll?
is turkey slop, where you just cut up the turkey and mix it in with the gravy, and then you can just throw it on toast or something, or in a sandwich.
Honestly, the turkey sandwiches are the best.
Steve, tell me the truth. Did you have sex with your turkey?
No.
No.
I mean, obviously, the thought crosses your mind every time you unwrap a turkey. You'd be like, you can definitely fit your dick in that. But
You definitely slap it though, right? Like you slap it.
Well,
yeah,
what I should have asked is whether you had. Did he make love to it or did he fuck it? Because I mean, we knew he had sex with it.
I can't eat any more of these candy corns. They're fucking gross, dude.
Yeah, they're pretty bad.
So happy Thanksgiving, boys. I'm glad we got to share a meal together.
Thanks, Andy.
Yeah, delish. I'm not gonna lie, Andy. I thought you were gonna do some sort of special episode thing, right? Isn't this a big episode for us?
Oh, I suppose it is. Yeah, I think this is episode 50.
Well, I'm glad one of us is paying attention.
Yeah. Well, I was too excited about the candy corn, and
I thought
and
about
setting
that
it
when I
all
was putting together the show notes. I was like, wow, this is my 50th show notes I've put together.
up. Were they any better than the rest of them?
My show notes are always well researched and thorough, Andy. You know that more than anybody.
I got show notes.
Greg's got a page. Ooh,
I got
back
2
and
pages.
front.
Yeah.
Handwritten still?
Yeah, I like handwriting it better.
I got a big old Google Doc.
Did you miss my Johnny Damon, the back and front joke? Remember that Johnny Damon hurt himself? He's talking about like his hip or something. He's like, it's the back and the front.
I don't remember that.
I remember that.
All indignant about it. Yeah, I think it was Johnny Damon. Someone like. All right, so let's talk about some football. I thought what we could add into these, since people might just be dropping in for certain games, especially a game like this when it's kind of one of the more famous ones, one of the popular ones, is we could kind of give a season snapshot of where things are right now with the Patriots.
It's a good call.
Just to give some context to like what we're about to talk about. So 2003 Patriots right now are, what are they? They are 4-2, which I think surprised a lot of people at this point in the season, because they started off 0-1 by getting their doors kicked in by the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo, 31-0. People listening to this probably remember that game because Brady threw an interception to, who was it? The fat man?
Sam Adams?
Was it Sam Adams?
Yeah, because I was like, damn, that's the name of our beer. And he's
That's
like,
right, yeah.
Big 6 on us.
I also wanted to drink during watching that game. But then the Patriots rebounded by beating the Eagles and the Jets. But during all of this, they started losing players at quite the clip, especially on defense. And that we'll actually probably get into that for this game. But like everybody's been injured.
But like the defense was playing well and the offense was awful.
Yeah.
The offense doesn't look good for a while. That Giants game right before this especially was bad.
Yeah.
Or Tom Brady
So they beat
passes.
exactly. They beat the Eagles and the Jets. Then they lost to the Redskins. And for those who know about this time frame, that would be their last loss for the rest of the season. And halfway through the next season, well, they're going their
Spoiler alert.
record-setting win streak. Spoiler alert, indeed. And so after losing the Redskins, they beat the Titans, who actually were a good team at this point, but I think we're also struggling with injuries. And the Giants last week in a horrendously sloppy game that they may not have deserved to win, but they won anyway. And so now we are headed to Miami, where the Patriots are all-time 0-13 in Miami in September and October.
That's got to be that stadium, right? Not like all, because they've been playing since like the 60s or something, right? Like a long time.
I mean, it's
Stat
13
check.
seasons before this, so give or take.
Really? So they'd never, ever, ever won in Miami before.
In September and October.
All right. Duh.
So yeah,
That
so
makes
it probably is all time because
No, because they could have won.
if they
in,
have a late season game, that doesn't count. So, but they
The
showed
Miami-
well, I guess, but they were talking about how the Miami, like the heat and the humidity is harder to deal with for northern teams later in the season because they're used to the cold at that point.
Yeah, but let's be real. I mean, that's what's in their heads. Like the Bills, it's in the Bills' heads. They can't win at Foxborough.
Yeah,
Right.
I think it's a load of shit.
What is?
The heat and humidity thing. Like,
But I think it can be like a psychological thing too. Like
yeah, I think it's
build upon
psychological.
something,
Is a
become
real
something
thing.
like the curse of the Bambino is the same shit, you know.
Yeah, it might be a bit of all of it as well. I mean, playing in the heat probably isn't a great thing to do.
And the Dolphins would always wear white, forcing the Patriots to wear those dark blues.
Yeah, and the Dolphins sideline is in the shade, whereas the visiting sideline is not. It's in the sun.
Yeah.
So, mind games. And didn't last. Oh, didn't
Well,
last
the AC,
season.
right?
Belichick covered the AC vents
Yeah.
so that it wouldn't get super cold at halftime. So, lots of things going on.
Best coach ever.
I agree.
Genius.
Dave wants that. Blast in the AC. I don't know if I agree with that, Greg. Best mustache ever, maybe.
You know what? You say what you will, Greg, but we will get to a point in this where I will bring up the genius of Bill Belichick.
No, I love
Okay.
it.
But just to kind of set the scene for this game, the Patriots have so few linebackers left that they are now playing a 4-3 instead of a 3-4 because they have more healthy defensive linemen than they do healthy linebackers. So they can really only field 3 healthy linebackers. So they're playing a 4-3 now. They've just switched halfway through the season.
I'm interested to see what they play the rest of the year when they get people healthy back too.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that, I think.
Yeah.
But going back to those injuries, like everybody's out. Colvin has been lost for the season with a broken hip, I think we talked about.
Yeah, something like that.
Ted Johnson's down, Vrabel's down. So they're starting Matt Chatham at linebacker along
Willie
with
McGinnis is
Brewski,
out,
who's
too.
been in and out. Yeah. McGinnis is out on the defensive line with Ted Washington as well, who they brought in to stuff the middle.
Who broke his leg or
So-
something like that.
Yeah. And then Gerard Cherry and Ty Law are also out for this game. Ty Law's was a last minute scratch. He tried to give it a go and it wasn't happening. But he's been dealing with an ankle injury like since week 2 or 3 against
Yeah.
the Jets game,
I think it was a Jets game. Yeah, I got like rolled up on.
And they have 2, well, I guess we can call it generously 2 healthy running backs, Kevin Falk and Mike Cloud. The one-hit wonder, Mike
And-
Cloud.
Even add all that, they cut Laura Malloy in week 1 too, so it's like they're down a starting safety. That
Yep.
At some
And they
point you're
released-
planning on, training camp and stuff.
And Antoine Smith is hurt, even though he wasn't looking great when he wasn't. And they cut Larry Centers, who we decided a few weeks ago was the all-time leading fullback in receiving yards.
I also saw him make a dirty play though, which maybe not like Larry Centers, so I was glad they cut him. I don't know why they cut him though.
Dirty.
Yeah, he had like a very late shot. It was like away from the play. It was pretty dirty. And they called him a personal foul on it.
That sounds familiar. Yeah, like
And that's
week or
how the
week
whole
before.
wait, a running back or fullback is catching a ton of passes. How is that a thing?
Right.
Started.
So not only do we have a Matt Chatham sighting in this game, Greg, I think you'll be happy to know, and also Kelly will be happy to know. You'll have to tell her that there was also a Tully Banta Kane sighting.
Yeah,
Where is
I
it?
did see that. He's
Yeah,
a
that's
rookie
how
this
thin
year,
they are.
right?
Yeah, I think so. That's how. I think he might have been on the practice squad they were talking about.
Yeah, they said he got
beginning of
called
the season.
up for this game. This is his first ever
Legit.
NFL game.
Legit depth game. But yeah, they were actually, the commentators were talking
TBC.
about, that's right. Commentators talking about how the Patriots are starting 3 rookies on defense, which you just don't see.
Fun fact: they filled Larry Center's spot with Tully King. So they waived Larry Centers and promoted TBC.
Oh, there you go.
It doesn't say why.
They probably just needed the
He would
depth
have
of
a-
linebacker.
And Tully King, he's a
Could have a grand,
7th rounder.
a grand total of 1 tackle this year.
Nice.
In this game? I think it may have been.
Nope, this year.
But was that tackle in this game?
Next year, I don't know. Next year, grand total of 2 tackles.
And then in 2006? No, not 2000.
Grand total.
2009.
He was good at some point. He had a bunch of sacks one year.
Yeah, one year he led the team in sacks.
Yeah,
I want to say
remember
it's
that.
2009.
And then, but
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong stat sheet. He had 11 tackles this year. Yeah,
Okay.
more notable 7th rounder from this
I was
draft
looking at the
class
playoff stats.
is David Givens, my boy.
Yes. Who will start to come on in this game to the point where he was returning kicks in the second half.
Oh, we'll get there.
But we will. All right, so kick it off for me, Steve Brown. How did this game start? Actually, before we do that, do we want to give it our
There's
watchability score?
6.5 point dogs.
Patriots
Yeah.
are?
Yeah, they were 6.5 points.
Yeah, that makes sense. They've never won in Miami this early in the year.
And the Dolphins are 4-1 coming into this. They lost
Yeah.
their first game, and this defense was smothering on the Dolphins side. They hadn't allowed more than 10 points since that week 1 loss to Houston.
Yeah. And Houston was like a expansion franchise or a couple years in the league at that point, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah. It was a big surprise that they lost to
awful.
Houston.
Yeah. Like the Texans were really, those are David Carr. They couldn't protect him years. So the fact they lost to them when they had like highly touted was big.
Yeah.
And they went on
not
an absolute tear, especially the defense. I get the line. This might even be a little low. 7.5.
So, yeah, and you know, like you said, the Patriots had not been playing well. Ricky Williams had run all over this team in the past.
Yeah, that game
And-
last year that they should have won and didn't.
Yeah, and there was some stat that they showed that I didn't get a screen grab of, but it was something like Ricky Williams against like non-AFC East teams ran for like 93 yards per game. And against AFC East teams, he ran for like 137. He averaged 137 yards a
Yeah.
game.
He had as many
just love
touchdowns
playing
against the
against
AFC East as he did against the rest of the league or some shit like
Yeah,
that.
it was ridiculous. So he just loves playing against. So
This game that you had on the Patriots Dynasty.info website was different than all the other ones we'd watched in 2 very, very meaningful ways.
okay. I know what one of them is. I don't know what the other one is.
Yeah, your mind's gonna be blown when I say the second one. First one is this is the first one we watched where whoever taped it included the commercials.
Right.
So it hasn't been 50 games, but it's been close to that. All of them have been like cut out the commercial breaks, and you just so when we watched them, they're 2.5 hours or so, and this one was a full 4. But also had commercials from 2003, which were somewhat ironically funny and sometimes actually funny.
Some of them were great. Do you want to just jump into that now?
Yeah, let's touch on there, and I'll save my other one that blew my mind later.
All right.
So I'm in marketing, and I've always enjoyed like video production. I actually took video in high school, if you remember. And the reason I did it, I feel like I said this in the podcast before, is I saw a Bud Light commercial that I thought was hilarious and said I could do that too.
What was the commercial? Do you remember?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was a dude standing on a balcony, and he's like, "Watch this," and he's like, he makes a bird call, and this fucking hawk flies in with 2 beers and gives them to him. And the girl next to him's like, "Wow, it's amazing." He's like, "Where'd you get him?" He's like, never really thought of that. And then there's like a cut scene of like a hawk dive bombing a sideway cafe with like people hiding under tables, and like, he's back.
That's pretty good. I actually wrote down that like this back in 2003 was where beer commercials still used to be funny like that.
Yes. And there was another Bud Light one in this one
Yeah.
where the dude's standing on a shoreline with a girl, and he chugs a Bud Light, and he writes a message in the bottle. He's like, yeah, I put a bunch of messages in the bottle, and every time I drink a Bud Light, see who's out there.
Yeah, just put my name and address in it and just see if they ever come back.
And then it cutscenes to a guy on like a deserted island and being like, another one. And he's got like a whole pile of Bud Lights. He's like, fuck you, Brad.
From 123 Concord Way.
That's awesome.
Oh man. Yeah, but like that was
of the
like prime funny like Budweiser, Bud Light, and Miller Lite.
Why aren't they funny anymore?
It's a good question.
I don't know.
You're in marketing, Steve.
They need to hire me, I guess. I'll make them funny.
They're not trying to be funny anymore, though. Feels like.
No, it's stupid. They should do like they should hire like Far Side Funny is the perfect Bud beer commercial humor, you know? They one panel, takes a quick joke, and then move it on.
They're all like socially active commercials now, which are the fucking worst.
You don't
Everything
like that,
is,
Greg?
man.
How surprising.
Oh my God. There's nothing that makes me more mad than a corporate company trying to fake be like social and moral to me. Like, get fucked.
What about the nanny state FDA? Does that get you more mad than that, Greg?
Yeah, they're pretty horrendous too. Dude, they demanded that they come into our facility and do an in-person audit when you could just do it virtually. When they're supposed to be protecting public safety and they make us all gather in this one tiny room so they can do their fucking bullshit audit. It's such bullshit.
Well, think about it. The beer commercials are all doing those bullshit corporate pandering things because the FDA is making them.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Remember the Office linebacker?
Yes, Terry Tate.
Yeah.
Watch those again.
Oh, they're ridiculous. I've seen them not too
They're
long.
wicked funny.
Oh, yeah.
There was one that was like for the PGA Tour as well, where those two golfers in an elevator,
This
and
is a
one hit
great
like the button for 70, and the other one hits one for 69, and the first guy goes back and hits 68, and just like keep going down.
I couldn't identify those golfers though. I mean, they must have been active golfers at the time, but I don't know who they were.
I couldn't tell you.
There was an
was Tiger good?
NBA Live 2004.
Yeah.
with-
Oh, there was some great
What
technology.
the cover
back
that
then.
was? It kind of blew me for a loop. Starbury.
Mm.
Yeah,
Farm Marbury.
love it.
Yeah. There was a lot of tech. There was apparently texting images was cutting edge technology in 2003. They had a lot of commercials about like, oh, you're there because you can text a picture to somebody. And this was also the heyday of the Nextel walkie-talkies, which I fucking hated.
Dude, I love those. Why are
Everybody
those?
had
Why
it.
are those not
That's-
back?
Oh, why are
Those
those
need to come back. The Nextel Direct Connect. Beep beep.
Oh, I hate that.
What? You want
No,
them to
business
come
gets-
back?
That's
No,
how
it's a
business gets done, dude.
It's not.
Steve.
Just fucking make a
Think
phone
how
call.
many like
and text
trashy
them.
conversations you can overhear with those, dude. So many trashy conversations.
Exactly.
Exposed to. Oh, sign me up.
Fuck that. And that GPS was I think brand spanking new.
Definitely
There was
a lot of car
feature in the
commercials.
new Honda Accord in 2003, and it was like they were teaching people how to use it.
The AOL 9.0 browser. I think it was a browser.
AOL
It was like
9.0
AOL 9.0.
optimized.
Yeah, and I was like, what does that even mean? What was AOL? I had this question. I think it's a browser, right?
Kind of. It was like a browser, but it was a gateway
It's like
to
Yahoo.
the internet. So like
Yahoo's just a
you
browser.
just would never leave the AOL interface. Like your mail was there and everything, and like
Yeah.
so instead of going to web pages, like the web pages would come to AOL, and you could go to like the AOL keyword NFL schedule and view
That's
it there.
dumb.
It's
They
like
just made
a
browser.
sanitized version.
It's crazy that shit's gone. Been gone.
Yeah.
I also saw a baseball one. We got every sport: football, baseball, basketball. Rafael Palmeiro pushing Viagra
Yeah,
on a TV commercial.
the Blue Diamond, baby.
Yeah. He's like, I make a lot of plays on the diamond.
The
Oh,
one,
nice.
the one that I thought fell the flattest was the "What Would Jared Do" commercials
Oh,
Mm.
yeah.
from Subway. It's like, well, I'll tell you what he would do and what he probably was doing at this point.
You're not gonna
It's
like
not
this.
something you want to be putting your name behind.
Yeah. That's tough.
What did he do?
He got accused and convicted of some sort of child pornography or exposure,
Yeah.
molestation. I don't know exactly what the charges were.
It was something along those
Something
lines,
with a
yeah.
kid.
Not great.
Andy, can you go into a little bit more explicit detail?
No, but I will
Well,
give
that's
you
about
my
as much as I
best-
know. But if you would like to Google it on your work computer, feel free. Or actually Google it on Kelly's work computer is probably a better idea.
Yeah. I have the best one, or it was actually a combo.
All right.
So there was an ad where I thought it was a pretty good ad, where it was like cars driving around and stuff with like all the body panels removed. So you can see like all the structure inside it. And it was like, be safe and look cool. Like there's no windscreen and everything. So everyone's hair is blowing in the air. I was like, that's a cool ad commercial. And then like, make it safe. Then it said, make it beautiful. And it was those Saturns from like the original Saturns that are like super boxy and just
The Saturn Ion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck.
And then there's another commercial for the all new Acura TL. And this body style TL was awesome. It was like the best car ever. And it still is good even to this day. It's like they ran for the kills, like make it beautiful. And like and then Acura comes along and is like, look at this sweet car that lasted the test of time. The car still looks good.
All right. Well, speaking of making it beautiful, I wouldn't say this first half.
Did you tell the score?
We've not told the score. Would you
Well,
like to tell it, Greg?
This is an overtime victory by a
it
score
was.
of 19-13. Should we give them the play they'll remember?
Yeah, if you're listening to this and
Yeah.
you came for just this
You guys,
one, you already
if you're
remember the
listening,
score.
you remember this game. It's the 80-yard bomb to Troy Brown in overtime.
walk-off touchdown.
Yeah, like everybody remembers that play.
You're
Did you know this is Tom Brady's only ever playoff touchdown or overtime touchdown?
I did not
Thanks.
know. I actually have a quiz on this. This is one of
Ooh.
my notes.
All right.
So as far as I could tell, this is his fourth longest touchdown pass.
Mhm.
The other three, I'll give you clues for the other three. Well, you'll know the first one, right?
I know, yeah, the 99-yard touchdown of Welker.
Okay. So number three, how should I do this one? It was a Thanksgiving Day touchdown.
Oh, I know what it is. It was a wheel route to Shane Vereen.
Shane Vereen.
in the
83-yard touchdown that kicked off that.
the butt fumble.
The butt fumble was the play
was-
after, and then the
true.
fumble recovery by Edelman was the play after that.
That was one of the two times the Patriots ever scored 3 touchdowns in under a minute of game time.
Yes.
Can't wait to do that game.
83 yards. I didn't realize that one was that long.
Yeah.
The second one, we have covered it on this podcast. It's from 2001. And my other clue I'll give you is it was in a dome.
It's Colts game.
Yeah, the Patton game.
Patton, 91 yards. And that was Patton's throw, catch, run game, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Yep.
Sure was.
And
That
then
was
number
his
one,
catch.
obviously, was 99 yards in 2011 to Welker. And
You
we
know
all
where you can
remember
find
that.
all these? Neatly organized.
Where, Andy? You
Uh,
tell
yeah.
us, bro.
PatriotsDynasty.info / Tom Brady touchdown passes.
Or yeah, that's a good place to go if you want an alternative viewing method. You're gonna beep this out, aren't you? What I found was when Brady turned 40, they did his 40 longest touchdown passes. This was in 2017, which is just crazy in itself that was 3 years
Right.
ago. He turned 40. And they posted a video of his 40 longest, kind of like, that video where it has all his touchdown to each receiver. It's similar to that. I watched that whole thing. It was pretty sweet. Tons of Gronk, tons of Moss, tons of Branch.
Oh yeah.
Sam Aiken was on there twice.
Yeah. I think I remember. Didn't he moss some it was a Dolphins defender, I think.
I think
Just
so.
went up over him and mossed him, and then the defender fell over. him.
Crazy
Walked
catch.
Yeah.
Dobson was on there.
Yep. Against the Steelers.
That makes me hate
Nikhil Harry.
N'Keal Harry even more
Even more.
because I hated Dobson and I saw him do that and I was like, that's already better than anything Harry's done.
Oh God.
So and then I looked. So I started checking like post 2017 to see if there was any long ones in the last couple years, and I was like, it can't be any. last year, 2019,
Mhm.
they had a pretty long one in week 1, if you remember that. After week 1, Brady's longest touchdown pass was 38 yards to a Landon Roberts.
Oh my goodness.
That's
That's
when did
Yeah.
Roberts catch a 40-yard TD?
Against Miami, week 17.
the last
Remember
game
that
of the
at all.
season, Yep.
Because he was playing fullback for a little bit.
Right.
Yeah. But I remember a 48-yard touchdown pass of the fullback.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
38.
I'm
was a good
looking it up
catch,
on
too.
the website. It's on probably the highlights on the site, right?
Oh yeah. They're all on there. Yeah, if you click on the Tom Brady thing at the top and then all Tom Brady
Oh.
touchdowns.
It's a good point. I was even going to the
Nope. And then if you
the
do
game search,
if you do touchdowns by season, it'll be the first one, 2019. And it's quite a touchdown. It's a great catch by Lynn. He's doing that. He's spinning and
Another quiz for later, too. So strap
Okay.
in.
well, here's one for you. Like you said, the butt fumble game was one of the 2 times they scored 3 touchdowns in under a minute. Do you remember the other time they did it?
Yeah, we've asked this on this before. It wasn't was it the Lions or something like that?
You're in the right division.
Cardinal. I forget what it was.
It was
It
against
was some
the
random game.
Chicago Bears in the snow.
Oh, yeah.
No, not in the snow. It was actually at home. But yeah, they scored 3 touchdowns because there was some
In
turnovers
the snow, though.
No, it was a different game. They scored some good touchdowns in that one too. But
Yeah, because that was on the 40 list.
I've never
And
seen.
I
this
had
game.
no recollection of that game. I was like, I don't remember a snow game against the Bears. And the score was like 35-0. I was like, Jesus Christ.
yeah, killed them.
We have a habit of kicking the living shit out of teams in the snow, I guess.
yeah. Oh yeah. It's
The
very
Titans, the Cardinals,
true. Yeah, the Bears. Oh my.
the Raiders.
See what you did there. All right. Well, we haven't actually talked about this game, which is what people came. So, in terms of watchability score, I'd probably give it somewhere in the middle. I'd probably like a 3 out of 6 Lombardis, just because the first 2.5 quarters are borderline unwatchable. There are, let's see, punt, interception, punt, fumble, field goal, punt, fumble, Dolphins touchdown, fumble, field goal. That's how those drives ended.
I feel.
I think you're spoiled, Andy.
Yeah.
You have to grade these on a curve of 2003. Like, we're not watching the Chiefs, you know. So we're not going to be a million points in these games. You got to expect drives.
But it was, yeah, but it was just the way that the turnovers were. It was just like sloppy.
I know what it is, Greg. It's because like a Dan Deerdorf was on it, and he was classic Dan Deerdorf Patriots at Miami, and just even I thought it was too much.
I actually did watch like bits and pieces of it, and I was like, oh, Deerdorf.
Deerdorf,
I'll give you. He blows.
Give it a fucking rest, Deerdorf. Like, good God.
He is the
So,
worst.
My notes, one of the first notes I wrote down in my game notes. Oh no, it's Dan Deerdorf.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh heavens.
But I also have a new pet peeve that you'll be glad to hear. And it's not necessarily like I realize it in this game, but I've come across it more recently.
That you haven't been able to get rid of?
I'm living with that.
I had the
understand
same one. Yeah.
it.
You actually have to wash in the crevices, Andy.
I know that's my problem. I need a bidet. I think is what I need. It's like trying to clean up mud in a rug with paper towels. It's just not working.
Oh my god.
But yeah, my new pet
Here's a
peeve
vision.
is every time a receiver catches a football, the commentator calls them wide open, even when they're not. And there's one because I've realized it recently because I've been watching the YouTube highlights of the games that I don't watch on Sunday. And
Why don't you
don't
watch?
know who it
You don't
is.
watch the Patriots anymore?
no, other games.
Oh, okay. Whew.
So
You
like
had
on
me
Monday,
concerned for a second there. I was about to fucking bust your chops about being a fair weather fan.
on Mondays I'll go and like watch the highlights of the other games I didn't see.
Yeah.
And there's one commentator on there, and you only realize it because every time, like, all they show is the completed passes and things like that, and he calls every single completion to a wide open receiver. And Dick Enberg was doing that in this game. I'm like, that's what it is. I don't like you for that.
So I had to think about Dick Enberg. I had this thought as I was watching this game. I was like, imagine if Pro Football Reference used the Dick Enberg callouts to assign stats. And how that would like seriously skew some guys' stats and other guys' stats. And then you'd be like, oh, they both numbers end in 3. That's why he's getting confused.
Dick Enberg is the king of getting people wrong.
Just flat out wrong, too.
Like, he, on multiple occasions, was calling Deion Branch Kevin Falk because they both end in 3.
Instantly.
They
Kevin
don't-
Falk's receptions double.
Yeah. And Deion Branch doesn't have any.
Yeah, Deion Branch loses his Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah.
Because
because
called the Super Bowl when he had 11 catches and gave it all to Kevin Falk.
exactly. Oh my God.
It was a solid like 7 times that I noticed. It was consistent enough to be like legitimately annoying. Once or twice, like, yeah, whatever.
I believe the first time we had Dan Deerdorf game on here, I pulled up a few of those clips, and you guys gave me a rash of shit. You're like, oh, well, whatever. Like, I can't believe they got a name wrong. Whatever. It's no big deal.
Yeah, we were just shitting on you, Andy.
Yeah.
I knew you.
We were just taking the opposite of whatever position you were going to have. We were going to take the opposite. Haven't you figured out that's how this works?
Yeah.
I knew you'd
It's
come
called
around.
being a contrarian, Andy. Look it up.
You could say whatever you want, but I knew you'd come around.
But no, I always fucking hated Deerdorf ever since when that game at Troy got hurt, that overtime Kansas City game.
Yeah.
It was last year. And he was having a career, it was probably his best game ever. And then he got hurt in the third quarter. And overtime, they're like, oh, and Troy Brown's back out there. I was like, and I was like, oh, nope. Got his name fucking wrong again. And I was like,
Somebody
God.
completely different.
Yeah. I
Oh,
was
nope,
like,
that's Kevin Falk.
Don't go get me. He's like, oh, no. That's fucking Mike Vrabel.
Exactly.
Both end in 0.
But if we want to stay on the hate train, I can give you some hate for the referees because these guys just, well, there's a few things.
What? Yeah, let's hear it.
So the first one was they decided not to blow any plays dead.
Oh my God. They didn't blow plays dead?
Yeah.
God.
So in the players, so it
Oh,
resulted in
boy.
2 fumbles that shouldn't have been fumbles, one for each team.
Oh,
And-
no.
A cheap shot, late hit to the helmet to helmet
That's how people get hurt.
on Sammy Knight, taking a cheap shot on Kevin Falk. Got away with it because the player didn't get blown dead.
Mhm.
Some bullshit.
Should have blown it dead.
God.
And you can
Number
be contrarian
2.
all the fuck you want, Greg Brown, but the guy couldn't even figure out how to do a coin toss in.
The coin toss. We'll get to that.
Well,
yeah,
I
fucking
wa- I
right.
watched
Yeah,
that. I
yeah.
watched
Yeah,
that.
you're not going to be contrarian now, are you?
Something, all right, something we can all agree on. I heard a ridiculous football or not football.
Okay.
It's his job to explode all over Chris. I actually not sure where it is. It's close to 9 minutes left in the second, so it's pretty early.
It's
And I
say
think
that again?
it's his job to explode all over Chris. I can't remember the exact play. It's
How
right
do you
after Brady
explode?
sneak fumble, and then I think maybe Chris Chambers coming across the middle gets hit by a safety.
Probably Rodney Harrison, maybe.
Maybe he was all over.
Still,
in this game.
that's borderline. That's
Did he get
that's towing the line.
exploded on? Do you
Yeah.
remember?
Not exploded on, and certainly not all over him. That the phrase that it's his job
Did
to
he-
explode all over Chris. Like,
Why? Did he get exploded into him?
yeah, he kind of like got like it was like a bang bang play right in the middle. You know, come across the middle, you're gonna get hit, sort of thing. Back in those days.
Yeah. Exploded adjacent, maybe in the shower.
Oh Christ!
Let's get into the play by play because I just gave up like the Brady sneak fumble and all that.
Yeah. Speaking of exploding, the rookies for this Patriots defense exploded early, where Greg's boy Eugene Wilson got his. Is this his first ever interception? Or does he have one earlier?
I don't know. He's
So
been
he
playing
had
awesome.
one earlier.
Did he? He may have had one.
Remember I
This was,
wore the jersey?
Yeah. This was a combo of Eugene Wilson and Asante Samuel.
That was a nice play.
Yeah, Asante Samuel got his hand in there, knocked the ball up, and Eugene came over, picked it off. And on top of that, there was a flag thrown. Everybody was like, oh, it's obviously defensive pass interference. It actually wasn't. It was called on the wide receiver for grabbing Eugene Wilson's face mask on the way down. So the Patriots got an extra 15 on top of the interception, which the Patriots did nothing with, and they ended up punting from the Miami 40.
Dude, they ran back-to-back draw plays on like second and third down.
A lot of draw plays did not work in this game.
I feel like I saw that last week.
A lot of bad play calling.
Yeah.
So Patriots get one first down and punt from like literally the Miami 40, which is tough to watch. Miami start moving the ball. They kind of did okay moving the ball at times. But then this is the first fumble that occurred because the refs didn't stop a play when it should have been stopped. Chambers, his forward momentum stopped, but he's like reaching for a first down, and he pulls the ball back in. Plays basically over. It gets knocked out, and the Patriots pick it up. Probably shouldn't have been a fumble, but that's how it's called in the field. So the Patriots get the ball, start it at the Miami 25, get inside the 10-yard line, and then they try to run on third down. Yet another QB draw.
Yeah. There's a lot of like long QB, and it was like 3rd and 4 or 5 too. It was like 3rd and 1s.
No. And Brady gets like 2 yards because that's what he gets on a QB draw. And so they have to settle for a field goal.
The looks like it looked like garbage against the Giants. It looked like garbage the game before. The offense has not looked very good at all. They just got 2 gifts from the Dolphins to start
they got
the game.
3 points out of
Miami,
it.
place you've never won. You look at that gift horse in the mouth. You'd be like, you know what? 3 points, please.
Yeah.
It's like, here's 14. Nah, 3.
3 will do. What were you going to say, G?
I have some notes on Brady's QB sneaking numbers while we're on the topic. Because obviously we know that Brady is like ultra successful at QB sneaks.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he like didn't do that well this game, right?
He had definitely one of those like 3rd and 6 QB sneaks worked.
Wasn't this one, and it wasn't the next one either.
No,
so these
probably 1 for 3 on them.
These numbers I have are 3rd or 4th and 2 or less conversion rates.
Yeah.
So since 2001, Brady has 157 sneaks.
Wow.
So he's averaging 1 every 2 games, which is 85 more than the person in second place, Drew Brees.
Wow, that's a lot.
I don't know how they calculated this. It was like a nerdy stats website, but it's like 140 cumulative EPA, which is expected points added. Yeah. So they had some equation for it. Adds a touchdown a year. Is
just on those successful.
Just on his successful
keeping drives alive.
Yeah. So then I found a New York Times article in 2015. So it's not as recent in numbers, but they went
only 5 years ago.
Yeah. This is like how successful he actually was on those.
Yeah.
So at that point in time, he had done 115 sneaks and he had converted 105 of them.
Good Lord.
So he was running 91.3% conversion rate.
Is that all sneaks or just 2 yards or less?
Just 2 yards or less.
Yeah.
There was a 7-year stretch where he went 60 of 61 and he had 37 straight converted sneaks.
That's not bad.
Yeah. In the article, Josh McDaniels was quoted as saying he has tremendous leg strength, which it seems, I don't know. I thought it was worth writing down because it just seems
football, not football,
kind of. I don't know. Brady, tremendous leg strength. I don't know. I think he's just kind of like savvy,
Yeah, and tall.
Well, he always calls it when he can, but I get it. I mean, he's soft, he's pliable, he can fit in cracks.
Yeah, but tremendous leg strength isn't what I think of when I think
how do you get in those cracks? You need the leg strength to make yourself soften and lengthen to get in the between.
Greg, that's why he's so successful, because you don't think he's got the leg strength for it. And then he does. Yeah. He surprises you.
And then in the most New York Times thing ever.
Oh boy.
I'll quote this. It said, Brady is as unstoppable as a crash of rhinos, which is, of course, what a group of rhinos is called, a crash of rhinos.
Did
Which,
you Google that? Is that for sure?
huh? I
A group of
Googled
rhinos
it.
is called a crash. Okay.
And then I went further down the rabbit hole and started looking up funny names of groups of animals. So
Okay.
I
pulled out
knew that wouldn't be it. Here we
four
go.
of my favorites here. A smack of jellyfish,
I like that.
Okay.
a caravan of camels.
Love
Makes
that.
sense. Makes
Yep.
sense.
Build that wall.
Yeah.
A pandemonium of parrots.
That's brilliant.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And then my personal favorite, a prickle of porcupines.
Whoever who gets to come up with that, but that dude is sitting there feeling real fucking proud of himself. Feel like,
Oh, yeah,
That dude is high as shit.
Prickle of
Like, yo,
porcupines.
Yo,
Yeah.
guess what we're gonna call a group of porcupines?
Yeah. So yeah, that's all I got on QB sneaks. Except for I did want to ask the question: do you think it's an oxymoron calling it a sneak? Is it really sneaky?
yes, because it takes the defense unaware. Because that's the only reason Tom Brady's so successful, because he knows exactly the way the defense is lined up, that this is going to be successful before he snaps the ball. So
I don't know, but
usually-
when Cam
usually it's-
Newton puts his foot back there, you just know it's going to be a QB sneak.
But yeah,
You
but,
see that?
yeah. And then it wasn't.
and then immediately runs a running play.
Oops.
I thought of you when I watched that, Andy.
Good. Thanks. Fucking commentators. I can do their job. Speaking of Brady QB sneaks, he tried another one in this, but he fumbled it because it was like 3rd and 5. They started their own 5 and they got like the 20. No, not even. It's like the 15. And Brady fumbles on a QB sneak where, he goosed the center, goosed him, and took off. And somehow, I don't know like if the exchange was bad or what, but he just kind of like dropped the football.
It was like
And
it was
how
like,
they
holding, like a crate of eggs. You'd hold it like you cradle a crate of eggs. It wasn't even like he didn't have it tucked or nothing.
Yeah, it was a strange one. And I don't even know how Miami recovered it. It must have been like a fight for it in the pile because it looked like the center fell directly on it. But
For sure.
Miami came out with it and started the New England 16. And I think it was 1 or 2 plays later, Fiedler on the roof. It was a touchdown to Chris Chambers.
Jewish quarterback Hall of Fame, right?
Exploded all over him. Yep. For a touchdown.
Yeah.
And then on the ensuing drive, Pats get 1 first down, and then Kevin Falk coughs it up on yet the second occurrence of a play that should have been whistled dead and wasn't. And Falk is just like being held there hopelessly because he's little. And then somebody comes in and strips the ball, and they didn't blow it dead, so Miami recovers again.
You see, I was surprised by that fumble because Kevin Falk was wearing those elbow pads. They look like tires.
Yeah.
So you think
Right.
like the extra grip inside his elbow would help keep the ball in there because those things are legit off-road ATV tires.
They were.
Same tread pattern, everything. His outfit, the best. The gigantic chin pad, the fucking rubber tire elbow pads. I loved it.
And the face mask that just has like 4 extra bars for no reason.
Yeah,
So you can't actually see him in
his-
there.
yeah.
Like I think that's Kevin.
And
But
he
you
was-
literally could have put
he was
anybody
our
in that.
only offense in the Giants game. In this game, up to the point, it's all Falk. Running,
MVP.
receiving. That's all they can get.
P.
MVP.
The more now you say that, Andy, and I'm watching these games, you're right. He's absolutely.
He's the
Put the
engine
entire
that made it all go.
Brady's not playing very
but
well.
Can you be an MVP if the unit sucks?
Yeah.
It's like having an MVP on a basketball team that doesn't make the playoffs. It's like impossible.
Greg
Or-
Brown, we were both voted MVP of our high school soccer team.
Yeah, but we weren't MVP of the league or anything, We're
I'm not saying MVP. I'm saying team MVP.
Yeah, he's
What I've stated from the
offensive
beginning.
MVP.
Okay, team MVP or offensive MVP?
Offensive. He's the best
Offensive
player on
MVP.
offense, without a doubt. This whole season, and I
I'm
think
not giving.
And last
I'm not
season
giving,
too.
I'm not giving an MVP, because especially when you you look at players' stats on these notes write-ups, and you're like,
Fine.
"Oh,
We win the
had
Super Bowl,
600
Greg.
yards on the year. What a shit bum." You know,
Well,
it's
we'll
like
have
the
we'll
same
have an
stats Kevin
MVP.
Falk has, huh?
An MVP
Yeah, but at the same time, like
race.
if I actually watch those games, I would be able to talk about the MVP, the team MVP on the Dolphins for the 2002 season. But I'm not. I'm watching the Patriots game.
Yeah. So why are you shitting on him?
Well, we win the
Because
Super
I
Bowl this
can.
year, Greg. So we have to have a team MVP, and you get to vote every week, and you can change your vote up until the Super Bowl. And
Okay.
right now, my vote is for Kevin Falk.
Mine's for Eugene Wilson.
Eugene Wilson?
Fine.
No, Eugene Wilson isn't he's not even the best defender. Richard Seymour is the best defender.
Mine's for Matt Chatham. He had a touchdown last week.
Seymour is an absolute beast, and he's a beast in this game.
He was a beast in this.
He was it was kind of like that changing of the guard from Jason Taylor to Seymour, because they're both sort of like that taller, thinner defensive end.
The athletic guy,
also
yeah.
super athletic, and Seymour was outplaying him in this game.
Wait, isn't Seymour like a?
He played more.
He's not a
interior.
defensive end. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they're different players.
No, he's playing.
Seymour was kind of like a.
Seymour's like a clog the middle guy.
No,
He was kind of a bit of both. He could do both, and I think he did do both at times, depending.
He was like a bigger Chandler Jones, like a Chandler Jones and Donta Hightower.
No, he did mostly
sure,
line up on
Dave?
the inside. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he didn't have he was not a sack guy, right? So he's not a Jason Taylor.
I think he is. Like
He's
the
built
build.
the same. I understand that.
I mean, he looks similar, but a lot of people look similar.
But he played better.
Let's look it up. All right.
Total sacks,
His most sacks in a year were 8.
Fucking right. From the interior lineman, that's not bad.
That's pretty good. That's what I'm saying. But he's a big interior guy. He's closer to Vince Wilfork than he is
No,
Chandler Jones.
no,
Yeah.
no, not in body type and style of play at all.
Yeah,
Seymour's
but
tall and,
what
like,
they're
thin.
the purpose they're serving on the team.
Oh,
No, so
position they play.
if you have a sliding scale of Vince Wilfork to Chandler Jones, he's smack in the middle.
That's fair.
He can do both.
Yeah, and he's built
At a-
more
at
like
a-
Chandler
at a high
Jones, where
end.
he can play like he can eat up blockers like Wilfork can, that Chandler Jones could.
And
Yeah,
he-
but what do they
That's
ask him to
faster,
do?
like-
I'm saying, what do they ask him to do? Not what does he look like and play like. I'm saying,
Both.
what is his function on the
Are you
team?
Bill Belichick, Mr. Football Genius, asking
I'm
him to-
just saying,
Get the fuck outta here.
he's like a big body that used to take up he's not like an athletic guy coming off the edge causing havoc like that.
All right.
They're
Steve,
both
care to
6'6".
comment?
They're both 6'6". Jason Taylor is 244.
All right, we want to go down this fucking path.
Not really.
And Seymour 6'6", 317. He's a fatter Jason Taylor. And Vince Wilfork, you gotta any guesses on him?
Yeah, I understand what they
325.
look like. You want to talk about the numbers?
325.
You want to talk about the
Was
number of
heavier?
sacks?
He's like, if
You
you
want,
take the boat, he's got the weight of Vince Wilfork and the height of Jason Taylor.
you want to talk about the number of sacks, Steve?
No, I don't want to talk about the number of sacks. The
Richard
Patriots
Seymour,
defense doesn't play
57 and
that.
a half. Jason
Sacks aren't
Taylor,
important, Greg. Everyone knows it's about
139 and a
pressure.
half.
Everyone knows it's about knockdowns. Sacks is a stupid stack. Everyone knows that.
No quarterback
139
pressures.
and a half.
Well, Andy, you know what? This is a great time for you to bust out your Bill Belichick genius point to prove Greg wrong.
Let's hear
All
it,
right.
Andy.
So there was, let me find it. So there was a lot of talk about, well, let me just share my screen here. So you can all hear the audio. A lot of talk about the main point of emphasis for the Patriots this week.
Down to Bonnie Bernstein we go.
And this happened in the fourth quarter.
The
3
Patriots,
minutes
one of their
left.
main points of emphasis on defense, red zone defense. Teddy Bruschi said the last time we were down here in Miami, the Dolphins scored 3 touchdowns on 3rd down inside the 20. He says it was a huge topic of discussion for us, a major point of emphasis, and we spent a lot of time on red zone defense this week.
Ooh, now what are the stats, Andy? What was the red zone offense for the Dolphins? They got 1 touchdown.
Yep.
And what, 2 for 4 on field goals?
Yeah. And how are they on 3rd down? 3 for 9, maybe, I think, at one point.
Yeah, not great. That's defense.
They started 1 for 7 on third down. And then the game came down to a third down in the red zone. Patriots held. And then
We'll get there.
special teams. Yes. Also, before this game, Belichick, and this is the Boston Globe article headline, Belichick uses horror film to scare Patriots straight.
God,
You know who wrote it? I don't give a fuck who wrote it because they don't deserve credit for that. But from the article, which is why yesterday the coach assembled a team for a screening of, quote, mistakes in Miami 2001 to 2002, a compilation of costly errors they've committed in their last 2 road games against a team that already had enough of a home field advantage. So he is going in there and he is showing you beat yourself. And when you beat yourself, you do it on third downs and you let them stay on the field, and you do it in your own red zone. So they convert touchdowns instead of field goals. And what did this game come down to, Greg? Care to comment?
Missed field goal.
Yeah. Where was that field goal from?
That being
An
said,
80-yard bomb.
Wrong. You're not playing the game
You're
correctly.
right. 2 missed field goals.
You're not playing the game correctly. Go fuck yourself.
there was that being said, there was 4 turnovers, 9 minutes left in the second. That's insane.
Yeah.
Like they both, it was 2 on each side. Dolphins turned over twice, Pats had turned over twice.
Yeah, this is definitely
You know
an
what
offensive struggle.
Right
I
after
think
that,
I
Kevin
just
Falk.
figured out why I get angry about it.
Okay.
Okay.
It's because I'm jaded from like my college soccer coach. Like I bet it's not fun playing for Belichick.
Oh, definitely not.
Like when someone comes to you and says, "Here's all the terrible mistakes you've made in the past. Go out there and don't make mistakes." Like that doesn't make you play confident or have fun or like play the game you love. That makes you go out there and like play sort of like, all right, don't fuck up. And it works. Like it worked for my college soccer coach same way, and it just clearly worked for Belichick. But as a player, I don't think it's very fun to play for those types of teams or those types of coaches.
I mean, you might not, but I'm sure some people might enjoy that.
Well, they enjoy winning. Everybody enjoys winning.
But maybe some people enjoy playing that way as well, though.
I don't think it's here's all the things you do wrong, don't fuck up. I think it's here's like it's not anybody else. Like from that same article, it's quoting Christian Fourier. He says, if you're losing a lot, you start saying, oh, it's this, it's that, Fourier said. Well, no, if you just kind of take a second and step away from the situation, you realize it's not anything but yourself. It's you not executing. It's you dropping the ball. It's you not picking up the read. It always comes down to one thing, execution. And then on top of that, Belichick focuses on a certain spot where like this is something that's going to come up in this game. This is the execution that we need to be ready for. And as long as you do your job, we're going to be in good position. You're not trying to make people feel like shit about the things they've done wrong. It's just like the lesson is if you do your job, if you execute what we tell you is the thing that needs to be executed, we're going to have a better chance of winning this game.
I just don't think it's fun to play in those sorts of teams, though.
Well,
like,
I think
don't try and play well. Don't play well. Just do bare minimum and don't fuck it up. Like that's what that is.
Maybe if you were better at soccer, then you could be good at that style.
No.
And what I think Belichick is great is that he identifies those situations through his like knowledge of football, and it's like he knew that this Miami game was going to come down to red zone efficiency, right? Through all his whatever the fuck he figured it out, and like there's so many executions you have to make in a football game. Every single play has a million decisions to make, sort of thing. Yeah. It's like you might not be great at all of those, but like these are the most critical ones that we're going to practice all fucking week because we need to win. And when you get to the red zone, you're like, fuck, I fucked up a bunch of plays already. They're already here, but this is like what we talked about all week. This is where I need to step it up and like do my job right. Perfect every time.
Yeah, and that's what they used to do at my college soccer team. We used to practice fucking corner kicks and free kicks for hours, and it fucking sucked. It was wicked boring, and no one had fun. I'm not arguing that it's not an effective way to coach. I'm arguing that it fucking sucks.
So you want to go play for Bruce Arians? That's fine.
Yeah.
Brady, I'm sure Brady at some point was like, you know what, Greg is right.
Yeah.
I'm going to fucking Miami.
I want to play for fucking Reed, you know?
Yep.
Andy Reid. He's the one that's like creative genius that like comes up with cool plays. Let's go get him. Let's attack him. He's probably not as good as like a coach's Belichick is, but from a player's standpoint, if Belichick wasn't winning, that shit tanks quick.
This just happened to Matt Patricia.
Yeah, yeah. It's similar to Matt Patricia. Is a great example of
Bill O'Brien.
that shit flies when you're winning, but once you start losing,
That being said, I will say this: like everyone thinks that Belichick got that way after he wins these next 2 Super Bowls,
right?
But he wasn't. He's always like that,
right? I was saying that he became the greatest coach ever because he won those 3 Super Bowls early. That he had like unlimited leash to, you know, they'll just be like, yeah, we're trusting the process. Because I think
he's in a good situation too with Robert Kraft, who's willing to give him that leash.
Yeah,
I don't think he gets that from Jerry Jones.
In that now we're doing some stupid podcast where we're watching every single fucking game from 2001. We're at episode 50. We're watching games.
But who knows? Maybe Patricia is just as smart of a football coach, and he goes into games going, "We got to practice red zone shit like that." But it just doesn't quite come off, and then things snowball, and next thing you know, he's like he's getting clowned on the internet when he's just as smart of a coach as Belichick is. You don't know, right?
I don't think it's just being smart coach. I'm sure there's a shit ton of those.
Yeah,
especially like
players coach, right? Belichick's
especially coordinators. I think he is, but
I don't think he is.
I'm with
to a certain extent. I think probably more so than these other guys who have gone off and not been successful, like an Eric Mangini or what's his name, Matt Patricia. I think he has a system that he's brought with him, and if you buy into the system, he's going to put you in a position to succeed, regardless of where. Like if you are the most skilled at that position, you know, Mike Vrabel probably wasn't the most skilled outside linebacker, but he made some massive plays because he was in a system that fit what he could do well. And so I think on top of that, he also is, from everybody who's left the team, talked about how straight of a shooter he is. He'll tell you exactly where you stand, and he's not going to sugarcoat it, but he's not going to be a dick about it either. You know, he's just going to tell you like how things are.
Yeah, but that's not a player's coach. A player's coach is like Rex Ryan, where you're like, this guy like is awesome.
Exactly. Greg, you would love Rex Ryan.
He's a media's coach.
You love playing for Rex Ryan too.
Dude, when I watched the Hard Knocks Rex Ryan, I was completely in love with Rex Ryan. I would play for that fucking guy any day of the week.
You play for Pete Carroll before you play for Bill Belichick.
Pete Carroll's a corny bitch, but
how do you get to Rex Ryan?
Same
Let's
thing.
Get back to this fucking game. Jesus.
All right.
Fucking
so we've talked about the fumblicious first quarter and a half. The second Falk fumble results in Miami driving inside New England 5-yard line. And what happens? Red zone defense shows up. You know, the thing they've been preparing for all week. And Miami has to settle for a field goal. And so we're at 10-3 Dolphins at the moment. Patriots get the ball back with, I think, just under 2 minutes left in the half. They drive down to Miami 40, and then they get a roughing the passer call on third down. So they actually drive like inside the Miami 20-yard line, 10-yard line. And Brady throws a touchdown, but it gets called back for offensive pass interference on the tackle eligible at 68. I don't remember who it was. Tom Ashworth, maybe?
Yeah.
Which you don't really see. They tried to explain it, but of course, because this is Dan Deerdorf, he couldn't. So the replay didn't show you what happened. So I'm not exactly sure why it got called, who it was actually called on, or anything like that. But so they didn't get to actually score the touchdown. They had to settle for a field goal. And Dave Wannstedt was still, I don't know if he knew and was just like misspoke, or if he thought the Patriots scored a touchdown, but this was his halftime.
We just can't give him anything, you know. I mean, the scores that they have obviously came off of turnovers. The touchdown right there comes off of a questionable late hit on Brady.
Great. Thanks, Coach.
It was a field goal. So that touchdown right there that came off a late hit, a questionable late hit on Brady, it wasn't a touchdown.
Now,
So,
we did go into the half with 6 points, so that makes sense.
10-6, yeah. But yeah, he was a little salty about the late hit, which it was probably borderline, but a lot of these calls were borderline in this
especially
game,
for that era. It was definitely soft.
Yeah. But to a couple things. One, let's add to the hatred. I don't know if you caught it there, but in that you could hear, I think it was just one fan, but they had what sounded like a vuvuzela.
Oh yeah, I heard that. That was terrible.
Throughout the game, and I wrote down that I'm going to ram that vuvuzela down that fan's throat.
Yeah, that was annoying.
If it continues in the second half. And it wasn't as much, but it was still like the first half, it was real noticeable. And it was every time. Ugh. So 10-6 at the half, Dolphins. But Pats get the ball.
Wait.
They come out guns blazing.
Before we go into half two, I watched the halftime show.
Oh, yes.
I have some notes. Again, because generally that cuts out, and this is the first
Right.
halftime show I'd seen all this whole time.
Give it to me.
There was an amazing play from Randy Moss getting a huge deep ball, but it was like 3 guys around him because it's fucking Randy Moss. So as he's getting tackled, he throws it over his head to another receiver running by him. Dude catches it and goes like the 80
running back, I think
score.
it was.
Ross
Smith
to end the half.
Yeah. And like when it happened at halftime, they're like, this just happened. They haven't even made the extra point yet. We don't it's under review. So
We don't even know if it counts. Yeah.
Yeah, it was sweet.
So psyched.
And then Brett Favre must have been sucking terrible again, throwing a bunch of interceptions. And they made mention of his 6-pick game with 3 pick sixes. Which I was like, what? Google it. It was in the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
Against the
They
Rams.
lost the Rams 45-17. Brett Favre threw 6 INTs.
But that Rams defense was like out of control. Wasn't that 2001? Because that's how
No,
the Rams got to the Super Bowl.
January 2002. So yeah, it must have been that
So
2001.
2001 season, because that's how the Rams. Because remember, the Rams were like
Mhm.
one of the best defenses. We're like, what? Really? The Rams? Good defense? Yeah, that's why.
He threw in 9 minutes, 11 seconds left in the first. 8:12 left in the third when it was 31-10, so 38-10. Then
he was trying to
7:50
sling.
left in the fourth, so it went to 45-10.
Not
Yeah,
good.
gunslinging.
And he did throw a touchdown with 8-yard pass with 5 minutes and 46 seconds down 45-10
That's right.
To which team?
to his own team.
Okay. Just for a change.
The other one, which I didn't look up, was actually Terry Glenn had 3 touchdowns in the first half for the Cowboys.
Damn.
Yeah, a 3 touchdown half. That's huge. Think about the fantasy points.
Well, remember, Terry Glenn did not have more than 1 touchdown in a game playing for the Patriots.
I did. Yeah, I forgot that.
Yep.
And then they made a joke about Tim Couch crying after the game. They're like, he's not going to cry after this game as well, right? It's something like that. And like he clearly had been in the headlines of Tim Couch crying after the game already, and then he came out and played awful again for the Browns, and they're like, he's not going to cry
I saw
again.
he threw a pick 6.
And Brett Favre's over here throwing 6 fucking picks in a divisional game with 3 pick sixes. He ain't crying.
No, he's having a good old time. He's
from a different cloth.
He's just playing like he's in his backyard.
Just a gunslinger out there. Real comfortable pick 6.
Oh God! All right, is that your halftime show?
Yeah, I have more on them, but post game.
Okay, we'll get to that then. All right, third quarter. Patriots come out, guns blazing, go 3 and out, and then Ken Walter kicks a 21-yard punt.
21-yard punt to the 50.
Yeah. So Miami
Get
starts
out of our half.
inside New England half.
Fuck me.
It's around the 50. Drive inside New England 20 again. And what happens? Red zone defense shows up. Patriots hold. And Dolphins have to settle for field goals. So now up 13-6. And now Brady decides to do Brady shit. And this is like, this is almost where you started taking it for granted, I felt like. like right around here, halfway through this 2003 season, of the Patriots don't get blown out. Like other than the week one where like literally everything went wrong, but the Patriots still like trying to score at the end. Like this team doesn't give up. So they haven't done anything. They've fumbled it away twice, including Brady on a QB sneak. They have like less than 100 yards passing, I want to say Brady had at the half. It was not good. And the whole thing was just bad. And then the Patriots decide that enough is enough. And so Brady drives him straight down the field and hits Givens with an absolute laser across the middle.
Right before that, I think it was the play before on third down where he's like legit getting sacked and dragged down, and like his feet are already out, and the dude like got his arm around his waist, and like the guy's underneath his button, like, pulling him down,
just pulling him back.
Lineman, zims it to Troy.
Deion Branch, I believe, but yes.
Oh, you're right.
On the infield dirt, to convert a 3rd and long, like a 3rd and 10 or 12 or something.
Awesome.
Keeps the drive alive. And then Brady on the next 3rd down, 3rd and 10, hits a laser to Givens across the middle, who in this game, Givens showed me a lot. I think this was like when Givens kind of had his coming out party too, because he could take a hit, and he was like a big wide receiver.
Givens and Eugene Wilson both showed out in this game for sure.
Yeah.
They said they're starting 3 rookies on defense because Asante Samuel was starting, Eugene was starting, and I don't know who the third one was.
Ty Warren.
Week 6.
Offensive line.
Week 6, we're starting those. And those guys are all like household names now, but like Givens was a 7th round pick, you know? Yeah. Eugene Wilson was like 4th round, right? Like these guys are way untested.
Mm-hmm.
That draft class was the only reason we won this Super Bowl and the next one.
Yeah, it was impressive. And like just David Givens being able to catch the ball and hold on to it. And because he took
just catch it in the first place. Brady fucking bulleted that. That thing was a rifle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just that immediate pop right after it and still tucked it in. It's awesome.
Yep. Yeah, use it to bounce into the end zone. It's kind of
Tell me you have that highlight on Patriots Dynasty info, right?
Absolutely.
/game/89
is
go rewatch it right now. Actually,
it's a hell of a touchdown from the infield dirt, which they were talking about this. The reason, and I've already said this, I hate like just buy your own stadium. Come on, it's Florida.
Oh, you mean we can't play on grass to play in a fucking billionaire NFL league? Right. We're playing on fucking dirt.
Yeah, but you know why? Is because the Marlins were still playing because they're in the World Series.
Yes.
And this will come into play later, but the Marlins being in the World Series is why the Dolphins lost this game.
You know who was the MVP of that World Series?
Jay Fiedler?
Coltrane?
Josh Beckett.
That's right. It was that one with him and Mike Lowell on that team.
Yep. Mike Lowell, Dontrell Willis, D-Train.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Luis Castillo, Miguel Cabrera, Ugi Urbina.
Oh, yeah.
Remember him?
Yeah. And then they took the team and basically dismantled it directly after this, right?
Yeah. Sold
the Red Sox.
Yeah, because the Red Sox traded for Josh Beckett, but they basically said, if you want Josh Beckett, you have to take Mike Lowell.
Which is
like, fine. And then Mike Lowell absolutely shredded afterwards the year after.
Do you ever hear what happened to Ugi Urbina?
No.
I was just looking this up actually. So I have his Wikipedia open. In 2005, Urbina was arrested in Venezuela on a charge of attempted murder for an incident that occurred where Urbina attacked 5 farm workers on his property whom he had accused of stealing a gun, wielding a machete, and attempting to pour gasoline on them.
I remember this.
Urbina was convicted of attempted murder and sentenced to 14 years and 7 months in prison.
Holy shit.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, I remember him going crazy.
But hey, David Givens, 3rd touchdown catch, week 6 of his career. He's number 9 on the Patriots all-time list, or Tom Brady all-time list.
Jeez, gonna stroke off to him, Steve.
He's only 1 behind Hernandez and Watson.
Says the guy with a Eugene Wilson jersey.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Or-
Oh, did you see that catch? I'm gonna go fucking look it up right now and rewatch
I
it.
did. I just did.
Oh god.
In that
David
catch against the
Gibbons.
Redskins earlier this year, sick. I didn't watch all his other ones because I want to experience those, in live. 'Cause I
David
watched the game.
Gibbons has less touchdowns from Tom Brady than Aaron Hernandez does.
Yeah, well, Hernandez is a ton, wicked fast.
He has 20. Gibbons. James White has more touchdowns from
He
Brady.
has more than Patton, Troy Brown, Danny Amendola, Chris Hogan, Fourier, Kevin Falk, Mike Vrabel, Dorset, Gaffney.
You'll throw Vrabel in there.
Also, I
Bennett.
looked up the Tim Couch thing.
Yeah.
The reason he was crying is because basically the Cleveland fans were booing him while he was down on the field with a concussion.
That is
Jesus
fucked up.
fuck.
So fucked up.
That's some Philadelphia shit right there.
He's like,
Aren't
they
the
got-
Browns next?
I don't know.
I think the Browns the next game.
Dude, I almost cried reading this.
You're a
Like
sensitive
about
soul. Yes,
how
the Browns are
hard he
next.
worked and like he's working his ass off and they can have their opinions, but to boo me while I'm hurt is fucked up. Like,
That is
Whew.
fucked up.
especially concussions, knowing what we know now.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Were they joking
he's
about it,
probably
Steve?
giving that thing with a concussion.
Yeah, no, it was not nice with Tim Couch. They were like shitting on Tim Couch. Like I said, they're like, oh, I'm not gonna, because he was like playing awful in this game too.
To be fair,
Yeah,
this is like
Concussion. He probably had a concussion in this game.
Yeah.
Out there playing. And
What is he
playing-
gonna laugh about it? Dumb bitch.
I mean, they also show
pussy.
clips of Deion Sanders slandering Drew Bledsoe. He's like, he's holding a football. And he's like, hey, whoever's sitting there, he's like, hey, hit me in the back, hit me in the back. And the guy like taps in the back and he drops the football. He's like, I'm Drew Bledsoe. Cool.
Yeah,
Deion Sanders trying to be funny.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what they did. Yeah, that's what they all do. They still do it though. They're still like that. Like none of that has changed.
Mhm.
They'd still probably laugh at Tim Couch for crying if he did it today. Like if
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield got booed because he was suffering a concussion, they'd make a joke about it.
Yeah.
I would for sure.
For sure.
All right. So speaking of shit shows,
So what?
fourth quarter.
It's 13-13 at that point though.
So
Because
yes,
of
the Patriots
thing
tied it
red
up with that
zone.
touchdown.
Even though they blew all of their early turnovers, they tied
Mm-hmm.
the game.
Why? Red zone defense.
Actually,
Third
I think
down.
a big part of it was
And
at
third
least that
down.
it didn't get out of hand was they played awesome on Ricky in the second half.
Yeah.
they
So
get
that
yards
that
from
is a
first.
huge thing. This because I think he had 50 something yards in the first half.
51.
The guy's on his way to 100 yards again, whatever. And then I think at some point, I want to say it was like right around the beginning of the fourth quarter. They showed a stat where in the first half, Ricky Williams had 51 rushing yards. In the second half, -1.
Yeah, he had 7 carries, -1 yards, 8 carries, 0 yards. And I
And
think
then
it's
he-
because they're playing that 4-3 a little bit too. That's why I'm interested to see if they stick with it.
True.
Because the strength of the defensive, like if you look at it now, like Ty Warren and Richard Seymour and who's the third guy? Jarvis Green was also young
Mhm.
there, and they're all playing pretty good. And you're like, well, actually, looking now, it's a pretty stacked D line. They didn't know it, but
Right.
this game sort of forced them into it. And I think, I don't know, but they might stick to that 4-3.
Yeah, I mean, we'll definitely find out. And I think just by necessity's sake too. I don't know how many of these linebackers will come back, And once it's implemented, like it's tough to go back and it's working. But yeah, Ricky Williams finished 27 carries, 94 yards because I think basically the defense started wearing down.
Yeah, he had
in
some
the
good
fourth
runs
quarter because it was hot. They didn't have any substitutions, et cetera, et cetera. So
He had that one crazy run on the drive where they go from their 10 all the way into our red zone,
right.
right in this fourth quarter here.
Yep.
And he was definitely down after 5 yards on 3rd and 9. They call like a Ricky Williams run play. He ended done shit. It was right before they gave the whole 8 carries, 0 yards stat. And I was like, well, thanks for jinxing it.
Right.
And then they give it to him.
Fuckers.
And he's down after 5 yards, and he plays an awesome play to put his hand in the dirt and keep his knee barely off.
Yeah.
And
Camera
goes
angle
for
wasn't
first
quite
down.
good either. So yeah, basically the fourth quarter is just mostly New England and Miami trading 3 and outs,
Yeah.
and punting back and forth with each other until towards the end. I think there's like 3 minutes left in the game.
No,
Miami start converting 3rd downs finally.
No, I wrote this down because it's
Right.
actually way more insane than that. It was 11 minutes and 3 seconds left in the fourth quarter. It's a tie game. Miami has it their own 10-yard line. And they rattled off an 18-play, 73-yard, 9-minute drive.
Yes, this is that drive. That's where Ricky Williams has that crazy third down extension too.
That ended with 0 points.
Right. So they drove to New England's 17-yard line.
Yeah.
I think they ran down to the 2-minute warning, right?
Yeah, it's 2-minute warning. Yeah.
2-minute warning.
They were on like a run. They were on a run. And I will actually give Deodore credit for this because they were on a run on that drive and they get to the red zone and they get 5 yards on first down on Ricky Williams' run because he's finally sort of figured it out. And then they false start and they go back to 2nd and 10. And Deodore's like, dumb. And I was like, yeah, but he's actually got a point that totally killed their whole drive right there.
It did.
And they just set up with a field goal after that.
Yeah. And so they're kicking literally a 35-yard field goal from
the dirt,
the infield dirt.
Yeah,
second
from
base.
Not even like it's like shortstop.
Yep. And
pro player stadium, more like amateur player stadium.
And so Steve Brown, you want to do the honors for your boy?
Yeah, Richard Seymour, all 6'6" of him, Greg, because he's super tall, not like Vince Wilfork, blocks the kick.
Gets his big mitts on it.
We've already gone down how many kicks he has blocked, and he doesn't have as many as Julius Peppers. Maybe that's a good comp. Is that a better comp for you, Greg?
Yes, that's a very good comp, actually. Julius Peppers is a better comp. Yeah.
Great.
Gets his big old mitts on it because he plays out of his gourd this whole game.
And he just pushed him like along the dirt too.
Yeah.
It's not.
The entire
the gut on the dirt. You just see the guy's like feet like moving back like a cartoon.
Yeah. So they get like a good probably 2 or 3 yard push back into it,
which definitely has something to do with the dirt. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And they asked Seymour about it after the game. They said like about the dirt and everything, and he just says, "Go Marlins."
Oh, that's awesome.
That's amazing. That's badass.
Yeah.
That's a mic drop moment right there.
Well, the thing is crazy. Maybe they don't win this game if the Marlins don't advance to the World Series.
That's what I'm saying.
That's right.
Because that field goal maybe doesn't get blocked.
Also, fuck the Yankees. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. The Marlins pulled it out too.
So Brady, but that whole drive, was it 18 plays, 9 minutes? Also, the Patriots used their 3 timeouts on it.
Yeah.
On that drive. So they now have the ball.
Or maybe 2 out of 3.
Something like that. Yeah. So they're now 2 minutes and they're, just trying to, I think it seemed like they were trying to get in field goal range. First play, Brady hits Branch for 20 yards. So they're at about midfield, just inside midfield. And then all of a sudden they go super conservative and just try to start running the ball with no timeouts left. And they end up going backwards. Kevin Falk gets taken down for a 5-yard loss or something, trying to do an outside.
Who was the old Patriots player that took him out? The old defensive back.
Buckley.
Buckley.
Yeah, they muffed a punt that Buckley picked up as well for them, and he had a stop on this play where he just blew the corner and got.
So was this pitch before Buckley was on the Patriots or after?
After, I think it's after. We had Buckley last year.
That's what I thought. Yeah, because he was part of that Super Bowl team, right?
This is the Terrence Buckley revenge game.
One. So I wrote my notes for Terrell Buckley was at 2 brute. So cool. But the Patriots literally not trying to go for a touchdown.
Yeah, you're welcome. A lot of crosswords.
That was for you. Yeah. I knew you'd like that. More hate, and I was flexing my words.
That was really conservative though, and that's another thing that drives me crazy about Belichick is sometimes late in games, it happens all the time where you're like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Hate.
It just doesn't make sense. Where you're huddling where there's a minute left and you're on. It's like first down. You're on the edge of field goal range. And it's
where else you were saying that?
All you need is 5 yards.
You know when else you were saying?
I know, but why not hurry up?
Call the right play.
You know when else you were saying that, Greg? Was the fucking Seattle Super Bowl when you're saying, why isn't he taking the timeout?
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And I still don't know why. It worked out because of a crazy play, but there's so many times where that's a good example, Steve, where I'm just like, what the fuck is going on?
If they had a timeout, they wouldn't have called that play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, well,
Put the pressure on Pete
isn't
Carroll to get a
but
play?
I-
Carroll's expecting him to call a timeout, so he's
wasn't it that he saw that
Wait.
like the
Yeah.
Seattle sideline was like discombobulated? He's like,
Yep.
they know what they're gonna do. I'm not calling time.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna let them
he's
fix
fucking
this.
do something dumb.
Guess what happened?
I'm not
I
gonna
don't
bail
know.
him out.
Yeah, but for every one of those is one like this
Sure, but
where they huddle,
fourth and
they
two.
take their
that
time,
being
What about
said,
fourth and
and
two?
they're like in field goal range, and then they're out.
that being
all of a
said,
sudden you're
this
in
is where I
overtime.
wrote my note. Give it a fucking rest, Deerdorf. Jesus fucking Christ, because you beleaguer a point like this, Greg. Good God, he brought that up at least 5 fucking. He brought it up in overtime.
He was on it for a good 10 minutes.
He
of
brought it up
broadcast.
in overtime. It was ridiculous. Let's get to the coin flip.
Hey,
Especially because
I stand with Dan.
I stand
boy.
with. Oh Lord.
I know how to piss you off, Eddie.
Greg's off the podcast. So it's been nice having you on here. I don't know if you know this is your last episode.
I'm getting you a shirt for Christmas that says I stand with Dan.
I'm not coming to Christmas. Just in case.
Need a signed Dan Deerdorf pick. Andy, thanks for being such a big fan.
All right, that'd be pretty cool.
I wonder if he's on Cameo.
That'd be funny. He's not. Bob Sosi is though, and he donates all his money to charity.
Good for him.
All right, so the Patriots basically try to get in field goal range and don't, and then like basically don't have a timeout, so they just like can't run a play, and Belichick's pissed because they can't go feel it. Yeah,
It went from 135 on the Miami 45 to ending on the Miami 50.
yeah. As time ticked off and they couldn't get a last play call or anything. It was stupid. So to overtime we go. So they have the coin toss, and I have the audio for the coin toss, which I think we need to play just because this was written about the day after, which here is the audio of what
Why?
happened.
A coin toss? What could be controversial about a coin toss?
Here's what it was.
So Brady's pointing at the Dolphins players saying, damn it, you know it.
Yeah.
And somebody else in
When
the
you watch
background,
that
I believe
video,
it was
you
I
can
believe it was
see-
Izzo was saying it's fucking heads, which is why you probably shouldn't have a live mic at this point.
But you can
But yeah.
see from the Dolphins player's body language, the Patriots are right.
Yeah.
Because he's not like, nah, bullshit. He's just like,
Yeah,
you
he's
know,
like,
like,
"Yeah,
yeah.
I'm getting in the middle of it.
Sucks for you guys, because, and then they reference the other coin flip controversy.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out what that was. I
I know
vaguely
what-
remember,
I
but
like that.
I couldn't find it in Google.
I remember what it was. It was
99 Thanksgiving Day game.
98, but you're close, guys.
98.
Here, Andy, I'll put this in the chat. I don't know if you can bring it up. I found a YouTube video of it because I don't really
it was
remember this. I
different.
just remember the vague. All I remember, I googled Jerome Betts Thanksgiving or Jerome Betts coin toss.
Using fourth quarter timing rules. Each team receives 2 timeouts. The first team to score wins the game. We'll have a toss to determine who receives. Who will call it from Pittsburgh? Number 36, heads, tails, tails, heads. Call it plays in the air. Heads is the call. He said heads. Is it tails?
I believe he said tails. He did.
You want to take the ball?
Look at Jerome Bettis. What's going on?
You're changing the head. Which way you want?
God damn.
That
so
one's even worse.
No,
because
that one they looked into that. And what he did is he said head tails. So they're supposed to take the first call. You can't change your call. So when he started saying heads,
Yeah.
the ref had to take that. And
Right.
they like Detroit radio like slowed down the audio and like brought in an audio expert. And they said you could
Amazing.
clearly tell that he said heads. And then there was also like someone had a mic on like a coach that picked up him saying to Cower, I started saying heads, but I changed to tails like halfway through saying it. So Bettis is being a prick there.
Obviously. But that's
Either
now
way,
why
this
they make
coin
you
flip
call
was
it
an actual
before they even do the
controversy.
flip.
Because
Now-
the ref was fucking wrong, was a bitch about it, refused to like say it. You can tell. They
I
didn't
know,
have like,
but he's in a weird spot though, right? Because what does he do? He can't just be like,
well, you know the problem is I thought
let's flip it again. I don't, like,
Right.
that's
didn't
what
have-
my immediate reaction would be is like, I might have fucked that up. I don't know. Let's
do it
flip again. But
Well,
then
like,
you're going to piss off all the Dolphins
the
in
Dolphins are gonna
Miami,
get
and then they're going to
livid.
start going fucking crazy.
So here's the thing. The problem is they don't use a fucking quarter with like heads and tails.
Yeah.
This is the
Yeah.
NFL commemorative coin. This side is heads and this side is tails.
You're so fucking right.
The
Steve.
football is
Tails is-
heads and the NFL logo is tails.
Everyone looks
or
at
the
it.
other way
It's like
around.
it's fucking the heads of
Yeah.
a quarter. It's heads.
Right.
It has a
Yeah.
head on it.
You're 100% right, Steve. They're getting
It's
too
true.
cute with a fucking coin toss. Just
They
do
are.
heads and tails.
Thank you. Even make a bigger quarter if it's hard to flip, you bitch.
Well, we've talked about this already. We shouldn't even be doing a coin flip. We should be doing like a what do we
some sort.
decide?
The
A
XFL
sumo
thing.
wrestling
No, it was a
with
coach.
your
No,
heaviest
coach
your
runners.
heaviest coach
Yes.
is you do a sumo wrestling and whoever pushes the other person back to the other team's 45.
I think we also
wins.
said that it might be the ugliest coach or the dumbest coach, and then Eli Manning would get a huge contract to be a coach.
There was
Yeah.
something about Eli Manning. Yeah.
He simultaneously gets hired by every team in the NFL.
No, take our money, Eli. You have the dumbest face of all time. You can never.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, so
Right.
after Miami, quote unquote, air quotes, wins the coin toss, there's another controversial play where Fiedler, quote unquote, air quotes, hits a deep shot to some no-name guy who apparently got paid a shit ton of money and has 7 catches on the season.
Nice catch.
It
though.
was a good catch.
Good catch, but he stepped out of bounds
Yeah,
at least
twice.
once. Yeah, maybe twice.
Definitely twice.
Of
And
course, it's on the fucking infield, so you can't see anything.
yeah.
The stupid fucking infield on a football field.
Yeah.
also they
Bush
didn't
league.
paint.
Nice
They didn't
crisp
paint the
lines
lines
of
on.
the fucking gravel.
They didn't paint them on though this game either because World Series they didn't want to have the line showing up for the baseball game, so they were chalk lines instead.
No.
Yeah.
Wow. Even worse.
So maybe he stepped on the chalk. We don't know.
You can
Um,
see the chalk get kicked up.
And it's not something Belichick could have challenged because he probably would have because it's Belichick and that's what he does. But because it's overtime, all reviews come from the booth, and the Dolphins ran up and just ran a quick play, and the booth didn't get to it in time, so the play stood.
Even worse, that quick play was like a 10-yard Ricky Williams run.
Yeah, and I believe there was actually a penalty for Patriots having too many men on the field on that
Yeah.
play too, on top of all of it, which they declined because they got a 10-yard run out of it. So again, just like in the fourth quarter, Miami drives straight to New England 17, and then
Ricky Williams went run for 10, run for 13. So they went pass for 31. So they get the ball incomplete.
Yeah.
31-yard pass, it shouldn't have counted. 10-yard quick snap to Ricky Williams. 13-yard run for Ricky Williams. They're sitting 1st and 10 on the Patriots 33, and Belichick's like timeout. It's like basketball. Like no.
exactly. Slow the roll, and but then what comes up? The main point of emphasis for the week was, what was it, Steve?
Well, here's the thing. Also, bad coaching, and maybe even like coaching within the rules of the game at the time, where a field goal wins it. And I think the overtime rules have changed this. They go 1 yard Ricky Williams run, 2 yard Ricky Williams run, kick the field goal on 3rd down. I think nowadays no one's kicking
Did they
that field
kick it
goal on
on
3rd
third down?
down and going so conservative. Like, let me just stuff Ricky Williams in the middle and we'll kick the field goal and get out of here because the other team gets a chance, right? There's so much more incentive to get the touchdown there, to be a little more aggressive.
I didn't realize they kicked it on 3rd down. I
Yeah.
completely
Oh,
missed
yeah.
that.
They used to do that because the
Just in case it's a bad snap or a bad hold.
Yeah, you can
and
just
stuff.
eat it. Yeah.
Dan Dierdorf was all about it, Andy. How'd you miss that? He was like, what a great call, kicking it on 3rd down.
Oh, I fucking tuned him out by this point. You kidding me?
Yeah.
4 hours of Dan Dierdorf killing you.
Yeah.
So they line up for basically the exact same field goal as before.
off the
And-
dirt, same end of the field.
Yep, from the shortstop. And this was This one was not blocked, but it was pushed wide right.
Was
It
it?
didn't even push. It was bad. It wasn't even that close.
Was it? It looked. I only saw the primetime highlights. It looked like it was high. One of those ones that goes over the whole.
It wasn't even close.
No,
to
no.
It wasn't close.
Like when it came off his foot, it looked like it was straight down the middle, but then it just like
Yeah.
kept drifting. And
He hit
missed
it
by,
pretty
like, 2 or 3
straight, but he
yards.
definitely just pushed it. He just started
Yep.
it way right, and it
just pushed it.
Yeah.
And was it because he
Alindo
was on the dirt?
Mare.
Was it because he was on the dirt? Dan Deerdorf was all about, oh, well, he missed his first one, so that just gets in his head. So,
Well, I
No way
actually
he's gonna
thought
make
that
it.
because I mean I didn't. I saw just the
We'll talk-
highlights,
we'll
and it
talk
looked
about
like
this-
a
We'll
high
talk about this
kick.
after the game. Okay, let's save this for after the game, for the post game show,
okay, sure.
What
because
do
they
we
get
talk
into it.
So then, we kind of know how this game ends. I'm like, all right, here it comes. Here comes Brady's touchdown. New England drives to midfield, and Brady gets strip sacked on 3rd down by Jason Taylor. And the Patriots punt. They forgot about that.
It's a good
Brady
time
was
for
lucky to
my.
Bounced right back into his breadbasket. It was one of those like
Yeah.
hits the ground, goes right back up into as you're
Yeah,
falling,
the perfect bounce. Yeah.
because that
What were you
could have been
saying,
a
Greg?
disaster play.
Yeah.
This is my other trivia. Who has the most sacks of Brady, or let's just say the Patriots, since 2001? This
We
will
talked about
include
this.
Matt
I
Castle.
think
I know the
it was on
answer.
Bills game, because I told one of Bills fans, and he's like, "You mean no show Schobel?
That's right.
Aaron
He's up there.
Schobel.
Is he tops?
Aaron
Number one.
Schobel, 14. Jason Taylor, 12 and a half.
Dwight Freeney's got to be up there.
No.
Really?
Strahan, isn't he on the list?
Mathis, maybe?
So there's 3 more within the division. One of them played on Pittsburgh as well. Pittsburgh and Miami.
3 more. in the division.
Joey Porter.
Yep. One is a more recent Miami player that has a lot of Jason Taylor in him.
Oh, I know who he is, but I can't think of his name. The edge rusher who played for
Yeah.
a long time.
Cameron Wake.
That's
Oh,
it. Wake.
yeah.
I knew it was something.
Sean Ellis is actually 3rd with 12.
Really?
Damn.
And then the first non-divisional player is Von Miller with 7.5.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Where are the Colts guys? I feel like the Colts were like Dwight Freeney was
Oh, yeah.
as
Freeney
game
and
plan as
Mathis.
much as all those guys, if not more, right?
It's just divisional. You get 2 chances a year, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Where's Dwight Freeney on the list though?
I don't know. I only wrote down those ones.
Oh, right, because
I-
you're handwriting your notes, so you don't really.
Correct.
I think we talked about it a while ago.
Cool.
me and-
You got it,
me and
Greg.
Mike
All right.
Back in the day.
So Taylor gets a near sack and
Yep.
near strip fumble, and Brady gets it back.
So the Pats punt. Miami drives to midfield, give or take. And then we have Teddy Bruschi doing his best Junior Seau impression, who Junior Seau, the Miami Dolphin in 2003, which I completely forgot about that phase of his career.
Yeah, so did I.
Completely forgot he was a Dolphin.
Yeah, this is his
Um,
first season in Miami.
Yep.
I don't know how long he was there, but
Changing the culture of that defense. But yeah, so Bruschi does his best.
Hey, he
Junior
wanted
Seau
one more
impression.
shot at a Super Bowl.
when he signed with Miami,
Oof. Oof.
tough, Greg.
He was just
He
trying to get
has
it off
3
his
years
chest.
in Miami, 4 years in New
Cut
England.
that one.
Nope, leaving that one in.
Leave that one in. That one in.
So yeah, so he does his best Junior Seau impression of like running up like right between center guard and like hopping there before the snap and get it and like timing it just right. Comes in untouched on Fiedler, who Fiedler his roof away from Fiedles his way away from the sack, rolls out to his right and chucks a bomb into double coverage and gets picked off by Tyrone Poole. Steve's boy,
wait.
Deerdorf,
Before we
loved
get-
it. Loved it.
Before we get too far off Seau,
Basically a punt. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, because I'll talk about that. I will touch on that because that was also terrible. But 2003, he signs the Dolphins for 3 years, and then does 4 years of the Pats, where he actually plays more games with the Dolphins, has more sacks with the Dolphins, has more tackles with the Dolphins.
Yep.
Do you think Seau? I mean, if he'd signed with the Patriots in 2003, think about that.
Yeah.
It would have been
A
because he played the
Super Bowl
Chargers
rings.
up until that point, where So Rodney Harrison and Seau left from the Chargers in that same offseason. We got Harrison. Dolphins got Seau.
Right. What happens if we had gotten Seau? That would have been basically the same, except Seau.
Yeah, actually, do you think what would be better getting? I mean, Rodney's been showing up big too.
Yeah. Rodney's setting the tone for this defense.
And I think the Chargers sucked that year too, 2003, right? They have to. I mean, those are the two, like, the Drew Brees must be gone too.
Nah,
Phil Rivers.
I think he's still there. I think Breeze is still there this year. And LT is still lighting it up.
Yeah, LT was definitely there. But I think I
want to hate on Dan Dierdorf.
I
don't give a fuck about the Chargers.
Hate on him.
He had a
let's
massive hard on.
play out. Jay Fiedler has they've been talking about his running ability all game, and he has like 1 5-yard breakdown that Dan Dierdorf fucking loved. Play breakdown.
That won't show up on the stat sheet.
Yeah,
it'll show up as a 5-yard run, but it was so much more than that. He
evaded
the
I don't know
rush.
How many
didn't
carries
throw an
he had.
incompletion.
Yeah, but he has that one, just man-to-man defense, and you get 5 yards out of it. Cool. On 3rd and 5 or some shit too. So it didn't even fucking matter.
It was like 2nd and 5.
Yeah, and
second
then
and 10, got 5 yards.
Fiedler actually makes a decent play where he's sort of getting sacked and like gets out of it, gets on the run out the tackle box, kind of all alone. Maybe could have got the first down, but instead just zings it down to the 20-yard line, red zone-ish, just taking a shot. But he's on the run and he's Jay Fiedler. He doesn't have a big arm, so way short. Yep. Easy interception from Tyrone Poole. And like Dierdorf's reaction is like, wow, what a great play. That's the same as a punt. That's
great decision.
Whatever.
Yep.
They're gonna punt it anyways on 4th down. You might get the pass interference. That would be cool. It's like, yeah. Or you might have got the first down and kept the drive going and win in overtime.
So my notes for Jay Fiedler, I have nothing to say about him, good or bad. He's fine. He's fine.
And they even gave him the backhanded compliment of he's a game manager. And then he make like one good throw. He found a mismatch on the tight end on Rodney Harrison, Randy McMichael, who actually was really good in this game.
Yep.
And he's like, well, does that look like a game manager to you? And it's like, well, yeah, he found the one mismatch in the 4th quarter. It took him all game. And he found it out and he's exploiting it. Good work.
I believe the quote was, there's something to say for a guy who won't lose you the game.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
The ultimate backhand.
Right.
It's a Belichick guy.
No. It's like
wait, I just do your job.
No,
you don't have to
Belichick
win
is not
the
gonna
game.
do a backhanded compliment.
Just don't lose the game.
Well, that
you
dress.
guys are.
Well, like, he's not going to say that dress makes you look a whole lot less fat.
I see what you're saying.
Thank you.
No.
I'm not going to say Jay Fiedler is a Belichick guy. Just because he's a game manager.
I'm saying. I thought you were comparing.
I
Dan
think Belichick
Dierdorf
would
to
like
Belichick.
Fiedler.
I think you're talking about Dan Dierdorf's like.
Didn't he sign him as a backup?
You're not going to lose the game to Bill Belichick. Fiedler and Belichick, they probably could have been okay.
Yeah, a game manager.
Yeah, so we have him in Cameron.
Don't fuck up.
If he fucks up. As good as my note is, as good as a punt, get fucked, Dierdorf.
Told you. But there's one more play left in this game. Who wants to do the honors?
That's the other point. That's the real part, is like, get fucked, Dierdorf. Because Tom Brady is probably thinking the same thing.
Yeah. Well, this was I don't even think we have to describe. I think everybody remembers this. Brady drops back, and at this, I think this point the Dolphins are kind of gassed. But there was a quote from Zach Thomas about this after the game. Thomas said that he sensed the defense let down after Lindo Mari's field goal attempt was blocked in the 4th quarter, and he missed one in overtime. Quote, if it's an easy field goal, guys think you're going to make it, and then you don't, and then you're rattled already, Thomas said. You can't let stuff like that happen. I'm not blaming anything on the field goal. I'm saying we, the defense, can't let that happen.
That's fair. I get where he's come from. Like, everyone's done their job. They got to the easy chippy field goal. They're kicking on 3rd down. Like, that's like a sign, like, it's in the bag sort of thing. Even if, like, what's worse going to happen? Like a bad snap? Oh, we have another down for that. And like, then, oh shit, get back out there. But still, I always like Zach Thomas. It's a good take accountability for it. They should have got back up, is what he's saying. But that's
I'm not blaming on the field goal. He is though. He's like, after the field goal, we just kind of gave up because we thought
that's fair. Well, he thought it was over. You know.
Yeah, but it wasn't.
Yeah, imagine him in Atlanta in that Super Bowl. He definitely would have fucking gave up. You know who didn't give
Yeah.
up? Hightower. Yeah, that pass was sick because like Troy Brown was like his third or fourth read for sure. You can see it in the highlight.
I mean, think about it. When's the last time you've seen Troy Brown running a deep route like that?
Yeah,
That's not his style.
That's gonna be Troy Brown's longest touchdown, I would think. Pump fakes once, looks left, looks down, and gives Troy a little point like go, and then just bombs it. Troy high steps out of the tackle from the safety, splits the fucking safety cornerback. And Troy is not fast. It's like not his thing. Love it. And they show the replay and
he's pretty
coverage. Troy just
he's
outran
fast on punt returns.
That's the best part. Troy outran his dude, and he's returning punts, and he's fucking covering kicks, and he's fucking playing special teams, you know?
Yeah.
He'll play defense if you need him to. And then come fourth quarter, 5 minutes left in OT. There's already been 10 minutes in the Miami Heat all game. Troy Brown is out there fucking running go routes, balls to the wall every time when the Miami defense is not.
Correct.
Love it.
That throw is ridiculous from Brady, though.
Yeah.
That's the other part.
On a bad shoulder.
On a bad shoulder, he's like going to his left too. So he's like, he's on the dirt. He like takes a snap at second base, starts doing the fucking infield shift, and he's like on that border, and he just like kind of across his body. I mean, he's not allowed to rush on him, but he just hums it up there. That ball's in the air for at least 60 yards, right?
Yeah, he doesn't really step into it either.
He throws it from the 15, closer to the 10, and Brown catches it on the 30 of the Dolphins, 70 yards in the air.
And in his hip pocket, like completely in stride.
Yeah.
To a guy that's like not, I mean, he had separation too. So
the other part was like
Brady's not a burner, you know?
No, Brady's pump fake though, like neutralizes the rush because when he pumps, the entire left side of the line jumps up to try and block it.
And now
so they stop rushing. That's why he can roll a little left and just uncork the bomb.
Yep. We need Cam to start doing that.
And then, I don't know if you guys caught this, but I put it on the website just because.
Oh, I did catch
this.
It's
such a good highlight. This is Bill Belichick's reaction to the win.
Always responsible. It's making sure the headset doesn't come crashing down on somebody's head because he just throws it like a million feet in the air.
Yeah, but just like he's getting into the scrum as well. Yeah, just pure unadulterated joy.
Stoked.
Like looks like a small child getting out of school, like last day of school.
Yeah.
Just like throwing shit in the air and just
snow day, and they're running outside in the snow day.
Yes.
You know, it's kind of like Brewski on that pick 6 snow day thing.
Oh. We'll get to that.
It's very similar, actually.
Guess who that's against?
Dolphins.
These Miami Dolphins.
I love that.
So, yeah, that was all she wrote. Patriots walk off with a touchdown. 19-13. New England Patriots breaking the 0-13 streak. This also brings
Bill
Belichick.
Chris Berman said, the streak is over. And I said, hey, buddy, it's just beginning. Ooh.
One streak that did continue is Bill Belichick's overtime win streak. Is now up to 7 after this. He had won 6 straight before.
Who had the longest? I wondered that, and I couldn't figure it out by Googling.
I don't know. It's a good question.
Longest overtime win streak.
Stat check?
I tried to Google it. I couldn't figure it out.
Well, I was talking to the stat guy, but he's not Googling.
Yeah, he ain't going to be figuring it either.
We're 2 hours into this.
Yeah, let's do some best and worst.
Yeah.
Wait. Let me get the post game. Let me get the post game because I have things to talk about this, and I'll make it quick.
Right. Give me some.
First was they cut to Bonnie Bernstein to interview Brady, and he just walks off.
Yeah,
and goes and come back. Jason Taylor, and then they run all the credits and shit. So I was like, that can't be the end of it. I hope if I watched all these commercials, I can at least see the whole way through. So they do. They bring it back and they play his interview, and it's classic Brady. You know, wow, great. You know, coach talked about it. Hi, mom. Hi, dad. Nothing crazy in there. Yeah. Then they cut to the studio. And this is my last thing. Dan Marino is in there because he's part of the halftime show at that point.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, you know, he missed that field goal because he's on the dirt. And sometimes in your kicker, you put that plant foot and it slides. And Deion Sanders is like, man, it's his home field. Stop making excuses. And like a weird, awkward pause at the end. And then they go to the next highlight.
Yeah.
It's holy shit. It is your home field. Have you not been kicking on that in the first 5 weeks? Do you not kick on that every year? You've been there for a while. It's not like it's new. You kick from that spot all the time. You can practice from there if you want.
Yeah, practice in the dirt.
Yeah.
Go
and
to
no
the
one else
beach.
does.
Kick some field goals on the beach.
I love fucking Marino being super homer, and then Deion Sanders is shitting on him.
Yeah. It's like this podcast, me and Greg.
Yeah.
Awkward silences included, right, G?
Yep.
All right, Greg, give us your best and worst.
Best was Troy Brown's overall game. 8 for 130 and a tutty.
Damn.
Worst is the fucking infield. It's just so bush league to have a fucking baseball diamond in the middle of your NFL football stadium. It's just preposterous.
I agree. I've agreed from the beginning. I'm
They
glad you
said
boys
there
have
was-
finally come around to my way of seeing things.
Yeah, there was
Like,
four.
oh no, it's
stadiums-
great. It's iconic.
There was
It's stupid.
4 stadiums that had
Garbage.
like an NFL MLB share at that point. Which I don't think there's any more.
Garbage. Fucking
No, Oakland.
garbage.
I guess Oakland's not even in existence.
No. All right, Steve. Best and worst.
Let me go last.
All right, fine.
Oh god, that means it's gonna be like 20 minutes.
Tell me. we'll just sign off and let him finish.
Yeah. Turn the lights off when you go.
Oh man. Let's see. Do I have a best? Oh, I do have a best. Where is it? Surprisingly, my best is a referee clip.
It's probably the worst.
There's no foul on the play. There's pushing and shoving. That is not a foul. Timeout.
Pushing and shoving on a play.
Dude,
That
they
is not a
love
foul.
that.
I think they should do that more often. That's where refs need to just be like, even with the coin toss thing, come out after the game and be like, hey, listen, like I do a million of those things. You know, give me a break. It's week 7, guys. Like, fuck off. Like, have some humor about it. That's why everyone loves Tony Romo.
Right.
Because he just kind of like sees, like, he makes you be like, yeah, this is stupid. What are we doing?
Right.
You know?
Exactly. It's funny.
Well, again,
And there's also another one. I think it was actually in overtime, where there was an illegal substitution penalty on the Dolphins, and it was the player came on after the play had started, and then you can see they cut to Dave Wanstatt like putting up 2 fingers, say that makes 11 players, like it wasn't an extra guy, and
the ref like corrects him on the mic. He's
yeah,
like
in the middle. He's like,
illegal
doesn't matter if it was the 11th
substitution.
guy.
And the 11th, he's like, even though the 11th player came on, he came on after the play started.
Yeah.
Like
It's
talking
still a
directly to
penalty.
Wanstatt,
Yeah, I
yeah.
was like super sassy about it. It was good.
Although-
let's see.
I have a worse to piggyback off your best because after there's pushing and shoving, Dan Deirdre's like, well, I guess you got to throw a punch to get a flag after some clearly like unnecessary roughness bullshit.
Yeah.
Fucking God damn it.
Oh. All right. So one of my worst is this candy corn.
Yeah.
Whoever decided that this was a good idea to make.
Terrible.
I just ate another one and it was a mistake. But my real worst was the graphic that they showed probably around halftime, I think, coming back from half. And it was how many stone crabs were eaten by Dan Dierdorf and Dick Enberg. Because apparently that's what they got fed for lunch at halftime. Because they're in Miami and stone crabs. And apparently in 2002, Dan Dierdorf ate 25 of them, when Dick Enberg only ate 7. But today the roles were reversed. Dierdorf only had 9 and Dick Enberg had 16.
Why do we know the crab counts?
And that led into a whole thing where they threw it down to Bonnie Bernstein, and she was like, why didn't I get any, guys? And then they had like another 5 minutes of like, don't do well in the heat. And, So what I'm trying to say is my worst is Dan Dierdorf.
He was really bad in this game. This is the worst game of his I've seen.
Oh, one last worst was Jay Fiedler on the season. In his last 4 games, week 2, 3 for 100. They're like, oh, he's been a game manager. And this is how they proved it. In week 2, he threw for 190 yards and a touchdown, and they won. Week 3, 154 yards and a touchdown, where they won. Week 5, 167 yards, no touchdowns, and they won. And week 6, the week before this, 147 yards, no touchdowns, in a win. So that's 2 touchdowns in 4 weeks for the game manager.
Yeah, the ESPN article was questioning whether they should put in Greasy over Fiedler.
I mean, yeah. I mean, they're
I
still
was
winning
like,
games.
You're
Yeah.
4-2.
One,
Right.
12 of the other. All right, I'll do mine.
Okay.
Just to pile in the stadium for a second, I guess they still had artificial turf on the warning track.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't think it was in play. Maybe it was on, like, maybe a corner of it, but, like,
It might have been
if you
like
got too
towards
close
the
to
back
one
of the end zone.
sideline, you're now going from regular grass to artificial grass. So there was 3 play types on that stadium.
Right.
Woof. And this is probably going to come up later at some point because I remember being pissed off about this just in general, but the force out rule. Remember, like, the refs had to judge if that receiver would have come down
in bounds
if
when
they
they
didn't
got
get pushed
pushed
by the defender.
Yeah.
And so sometimes like, yeah, he probably would have came down with the ball, his feet probably would have touched, I guess. And sometimes like, no, he got, he was going to go out of bounds anyways. And it's like an impossible call to make. And eventually they're like, nah, fuck it. Like, if you don't
Except
come
for
down,
this one where it was blatantly obvious he wouldn't have come down.
yeah. But
Except Dan Dierdorf swore that he would have.
I just know that that dumb rule is gonna rear its head at some point, and I'm gonna be pissed about it. I have like a place like Troy Brown has a sweet stiff arm in the first quarter, which was sweet. But my real best, and I mentioned this way earlier, and I'll bring it back up now. I can't believe you didn't notice this, Andy. This was the first game with the yellow first down line. Every game we've watched to this point has had no, here's the yellow line on the screen for the first down.
Really?
Yes. Because that shit
sounds like something I'll complain about.
Nuts of like, did he get there? Did he not? Like, how close is he? Like, that gives you so much information and you don't even realize it. And it's because I've been watching like both NFL and regular at the same time, So like you see like half the games you watch will have the first down on it and half you don't. And then like, every close one, you're like questionable. And the only reason I noticed it was on like the first red zone possession for the Dolphins, they forgot to update it. So like when they went to snap the ball, it was behind them. And I was like, it's there. I was like, no way.
Yeah.
But it was a huge moment. I mean, first down line, big for watching football games. And you know what I'm excited for is like however far back those NFL replays go. So every Dan Dierdorf game, you can just watch the snap, the snap, the snap, the snap.
That starts in 2009.
Oh. God.
Yep.
Well, hopefully none of them have more commercials because like one game of commercials was plenty.
Yeah, I can't promise that. It's hit or miss at this point, but we'll see. So next week, Patriots. Is it a home game or an away game? It's home versus the Browns. I think we all know how it turns out, but we don't know how. Join us next week on a post-Thanksgiving episode of the Patriots Dynasty Podcast. See you later.
See you later.